Hello, and welcome to another episode of The Well-Appointed Mystic. Today's episode is not going to be about this particular deck. This was just here so that I could get everything in frame. Today I am going to do the sort of VR tag, blindly choosing 10, blindly ranking 10 decks from Fairlight Tarot. So my husband kindly played along with me and filled a tote bag with 10 randomly selected tarot and oracle decks from my ridiculously large stash. And I'm going to reach in this bag and pick them out and rank them from 1 to 10. So this is going to be silly and kind of fun, and we'll see how this turns out. I'm actually really curious what decks he picked out, because he said to me, this is going to be hard. So, okay, we're going to reach in and pull out the first deck. And it is the Tarot of Tales. This deck came out last year, mass market. And it has been separated from its larger box. So I don't remember the publisher, but it wasn't one of the big 3 or 4. It was a smaller publisher. This deck, I think, is gorgeous and is fascinating. But it is not as quick a hit for me in terms of just like, maybe if I just turn the whole deck over, as other decks. I mean, I love, this axolotl, but is that initially where my head goes when I think of 4 of Cups? I don't know. So, the 6 of Swords, they're super cute, and I love that they're almost like children's fairy tale book illustrations, but it's one that I've had more difficulty using. So I think if I were to rate this one, I'm going to put it at 9. I know that seems harsh, but it's a deck that I have waffled about whether or not I should keep, just because as much as I like it, I'm not sure I get it. So we're going to say this is at number 9, and we'll see if I regret that decision later. Okay, next one. Let's see. I'm going to pull this one out. This one is in one of the wonderful Moonlit Fae bags that I have, so I know exactly what deck it is. It is the Tarot of Mystical Moments, which this makes it much easier for me because this is absolutely one of my favorite decks. So I think to be on the safe side, this one I might rank in the number 1 slot. And I might regret that. There may be something else in here, but this is such one of my favorite decks that I feel like that's probably a safe call. So I'm also very excited that this is going to be available as a mini deck. The shiny cardstock, still not my favorite. I did have to sand the foil edges because they were very pointy, and now they're very smooth. But was able to maintain some of that look and feel. So we're going to say that this is number 1. So we're going to slide that over here. I'm kind of trying to put them in numerical order just off camera so that I don't lose track later. Okay, let's see. I'm going to grab this one. This is the Botanica Tarot. These cards are so pretty. This is such a pretty deck, and if you've been watching my videos for a while, this came from, I think the publisher is called honestly, it's not, I don't think it's printed anywhere on here. Let's see. The publisher's Beehive Books. So it's not someone who's normally doing tarot decks. The gold and black box is really pretty. Mine got a little bashed up on its way to me, but it kept the cards safe, so that's totally fine. The backs of these cards are gold foil on a matte black, and then the front are just beautiful. I use these as my study deck, my card pull of the month for June, I believe. And discovered that these are not as easy for me to read as I hoped, but it is such a pretty deck that I think I might put this, I might put this around 5 or 6. So I feel like I ought to write this down now because I'm going to hit a point at which I'm not going to remember where. These have a lovely gold foil edging, not pointy at all. Just a gorgeous deck. The guidebook doesn't have a ton of detail. I wish I had a little bit more, but I do like that they provide information about the actual flower, which is listed on the side, and then also, like, oftentimes there's a little bit of information in about it. So I'm going to say we're going to put this at 6. Next up, in one of my hand knit bags, I believe this is the Trick or Treat Tarot. This was from Llewellyn. It comes in one of those giant boxes. It has since been separated from its book and its box, but this is one of my favorite October decks. It is such a fun portrayal of trick-or-treating and Halloween. It is both sweet and somber, but also playful and really cute. I love that people are just sort of dressed in costume for each character, celebrating with her kid. That they're just like, this is just such a fun deck. I would say, where would I put this? Based on this sort of rating system, blindly pulling these out, because I tend to only use this seasonally around October. Oh, it's my favorite Lovers card. I love this. It is Gomez and Morticia. Perfect. Cats like it too. So I'm going to put this, I think I would say in slot 4. Because I really only use it once a month or once a year. So this is the, I think I got a moth problem. Ooh. So I'll have to sew that up. So we're going to put this at 4. This is the Trick or Treat bag damage. So that one goes there. All right, what do we got next? We're going to pull this one. This is the Meraki Tarot 3rd edition. When I was able to finally get this deck, I was so excited about it. It's got these beautiful painted edges in green, lovely card back. It is, however, just awful. I really hated the rose petal finish. It is a basically matte laminated cardstock. It feels like cheap suede to me. That's the best I can describe it. I just really, really don't like it. This is a deck, I think I really wanted to like it. I think the illustrations are really pretty, but I just didn't jive with it. I feel like there's too much disparity between the art styles throughout the cards. Like some of it feels real, like digitally created. Others feel more painterly. Like this has tons and tons of detail, where this card feels less detailed. I don't know. It's a whole vibe thing. So, and you can tell because it's still in order, because I really have never used it. I've flipped through it many times. But this is the same sort of like, I don't even know how to describe it, the painterly style that looks like somebody painted over a photograph in like Procreate on an iPad. A lot of the artwork, like the Crow Tarot and things like that, kind of have a similar look. So I think if you love that, you'd love this one, but it's just not doing it for me. So I'm going to put this one in the slot number 10. And I know other people are going to be horrified, but it's just not a deck for me. So the Meraki goes in number 10. And I grabbed a piece of paper because I was afraid I was not going to remember the order for these. So I'll put that there. We'll reach in here and grab another one. And this one is in another Moonlit Fae bag. And we open this up. And I believe this is called the Crystal Tarot. It's an older deck from Los Scarabeo. It's a pip deck. These are the card backs. I bought mine secondhand off of eBay, of all places, because I didn't realize it was still available. I thought this was like a considerably older deck. Of all the pip decks that I have, this is my favorite pip deck. It's the one that I work with most often to sort of get better at reading pips. The artwork is just so unique and interesting. It's really well illustrated. Probably my only complaint with this deck is I don't like these little arc shapes around here. I just feel like it's unnecessary. I know that for a long time, Los Scarabeo was doing the different languages, which I'm fine with. But I just feel like this little, and there's like these little bars where it's like, I just wish you made the artwork bigger and just filled the space, instead of doing this like weird little bar of artwork, because it seems like it aligns, but maybe it doesn't. So it's like, was there more artwork or not? It's a little hard to tell, because like here you can see like that continues. So I just wish that they could have probably gotten away with like bleeding the artwork all the way to the edge and then just have the bars with the words top and bottom. But anyway, so this is the Crystal Tarot, one of my favorites. So I would put this, I'm going to put it at number 3. Some of these decisions I feel like I may regret later. I don't know. So I only have one more sort of top spot left. So we'll see. Maybe I made a huge mistake. Okay, this is the Tarot of Mugi. This is, I think it was an independently produced deck, but it did pop up on Amazon a bit. So it's like one of those boxes where it's like there's no indication on here of a publisher or anything. Also, no weird QR code. So it's not like it's a counterfeit deck or anything. But the little story on the back says that the author, Yuki, was diagnosed with cancer and decided that Mugi was her pet rat that spends every day happily eating rice, grooming his fur, has fun, and then sleeps and lives a happy life every day. So I think this was something that the artist worked on to sort of give her something to focus on while she was sick. So it is very much an RWS clone deck, but it is so sweet and so cute. And I think it's a fun deck, and it's one that it tends to get filed away with my like inner child decks because they're just so sweet, and the little rats remind me of the Mrs. Frisbee and the Rats of Nim, which was one of my favorite books as a kid. So, it sort of has that spot for me. Look at the little rat in the moon. So, anyway, so I feel like this, even though it's just an RWS clone, I'm going to put it in spot 7. So this is the Tarot of Mugi. I don't know if this deck is still available or not. And again, I wish I had more information. It doesn't come with a guidebook or any additional information except what's printed on the back of the box. The cardstock is just a nice, it's like semi-matte. And the cards themselves are a little bit smaller than standard size, so they're pretty easy to hold on to. Okay, we have 3 decks left. Let's see. Gothmancy. This is a deck that I was so excited to actually be able to get a hold of a copy of it. I'm pretty sure it's still available, but it had kind of gone in and out of publication for a while, making it difficult to get. But this sits in that absolutely sweet spot for me of a little punk, a little goth, a little pop culture. This is the Addams Family here. Elvira. Oh, this is from The Craft. The Crow. Like, whoever made this deck is obviously must be about my age, because it's all like mostly references that I totally get just by looking at the cards. Some of them I might have to look up, but it's like references that all of them I'm familiar with. I mean, like, okay, this is so fun. However, it does serve a very specific purpose, and and kind of very specific audience. So I don't know that I would rank it as high as others. I largely keep it because it is all the things that I loved as a teenager. The joke is there's a lot of Robert Smith-ish sort of characters throughout this deck. So I'm going to put it at 5. I have space 5, 9, and 2 left. So I might reconsider this, but yeah, so we're going to put Gothmancy at the 5 and see what else. We've got 2 left. Okay. Aha. So this one is the Stitcher's Tarot by Stitch Together. This was a Kickstarter deck. I was so excited because I had the Stitcher's Oracle, which I loved. It had very little information other than just the icons on each card. And as someone who knits and sews and does all kinds of other handcrafts, it was just such a fun deck. And it basically lived in my knitting bag and would be like, so what should I do today? And I would pull a card and it would be like, sew on buttons. All right, we need to do finishing, stuff like that. The tarot deck, on the other hand, while I absolutely love the illustration style and the cardstock and everything, I feel like there were some misses visually with it, like this lover's being stabbed in the hand with a knitting needle. Just, it's a lot of pip style cards, which is fine if I were better at reading pips, but I'm not. I love that the little knitting needles have little skulls on top. I really want a set of needles like that. But overall, it's a deck that I'm not sure, like, I don't know. I'm very wishy-washy about this. I wanted to love it so much, and I ended up kind of feeling a little blah about it. So as I only have spot 2 and 9, I think this will end up in the spot 9. So that's the Stitchers. And then, all right, we have 1 left. I hope it lives up to its spot, because the only spot I have left is the number 2 spot. So let's see. So that goes to number 9. And what do we got left? The Golden Art Nouveau Tarot. Honestly, this is probably not a bad place to put it, because it is a classic reinterpretation of the Rider-Waite-Smith. It's often a deck I recommend to other people who want sort of a classic tarot deck, but maybe the sort of fuzzy, overly bright yellows and stuff in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck is not to their liking. I think that this is a great substitute. The gold foil patterning on the front of each card can be a bit much to take. I often recommend the mini version of this deck, which does not have quite as much. I don't think it has any gold. I think there's maybe gold on the back, but it's just not as vivid. But overall, I think this is just a great alternative to the RWS. So honestly, I don't think it's bad to stick it in slot number 2. So that's the Golden Art Nouveau. So my final list, if I had known what was in the bag to begin with, would I put these in different spots? don't know that I would. So I think that was fun. Hopefully it wasn't too long a video, and I hope that you all enjoyed it too. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon.